These four women were talking together. They all had something in common. They were all mothers of priests. The first one says, my son is a Monsignor. He enters a room and everybody greets him with, oh, Monsignor. The second one says, my son is a bishop. You know, it's a high authority in the church. He enters a room, everybody stands up and says, oh, Your Excellency. The third one says, my son is a cardinal. You can't get any higher than that unless you make him pope. When he enters a room, people stand up, kiss his hand and say, oh, Your Eminence. The fourth woman isn't saying anything, so they say, what about you? She says, oh, my son is just a priest. 5'4", 390 pounds. When he enters the room, everybody looks at him and says, oh my God. Oh my God should not just be the punchline of a joke. Should be the way people react at our goodness. They should look at us and say, oh my God, what a good person. And today the church tells us that message. Gives us the message in uncertain terms, beginning with the first reading. You heard God talking through the prophet. We have a choice. We can either touch the water or the fire. We can touch death or life. It's our choice. But then he concludes, he does not permit you to choose the wrong thing. You can choose the wrong thing with the consequences. After all, we should be used to that, right? You can choose to overeat. How many of you do that occasionally? Then what's the consequence? Oh my God, I'm going to stomach eat. You can choose to get drunk. And then after you remember who you are, what do you have? A hangover. The consequences come with your choice. So the first thing the church is telling us today, make sure you make the right choice. Choice life. Choose life, not death. Choose good, not evil. Choose water, not fire. Make the right choice. But making the right choice is only the first stop. We have to go further. So in the gospel reading, Jesus tells us how much further we have to go. You heard him today. Unless your righteousness is better than that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you're not worthy of the kingdom of heaven. What is he telling us? He makes it clear. Sometimes, and I see so many Christians, who say, I'm a good Christian. And I say, why do you say that? Well, I never hurt anybody, I never killed anybody, I never cheated anybody. And I say to make a Christian who doesn't do much of anything. What makes a good Christian a good Christian? If we reach up for perfection, and the Lord was clear today. You heard, thou shalt not kill. I tell you, if you get angry at someone, you're in trouble. Uh-oh. How many of us are in trouble? Raise your hands. Come on, everybody in this church. If you call somebody a name, you're in trouble. You heard, thou shalt not commit adultery. And I tell you, if you look at somebody with lust, you committed adultery. The Lord is telling us, I want perfection. In one more passage of the gospel, it was very clear. You have to be as perfected as your Father who is in heaven. So the first thing is, we have to make the right choice. The second thing is, we have to make sure that we'll live up to that choice by doing our best. We wouldn't be happy if Jesus had been Jesus halfway, would we? If he had said, okay, I'm going to work miracles for you. Occasionally I'm going to give you good words, but don't ask me to die on a cross. I don't want to do that. Jesus was Jesus all the way. He reached the perfection of being the Christ. And he asks us to reach the perfection of being the Christians. Now there is where we have to do a lot of work, isn't it? We have to do a lot of work. For some people it might be just thoughts. For some people it might be words. For some people it might be actions. We we have to perfect our thoughts, our words, and our actions. So that when we present ourselves, people will say, oh my God, what a good Christian. First choice, between good and evil, choose good. Between life and death, choose life. Second choice, make sure that you choose perfection, not a halfway thing. You know, when we look at ball games, wouldn't we want all of our players and our teams to be the best? The Ravens were not the best, apparently, this last time. If we go to a doctor, wouldn't we want our doctor to be the best? If we send our children to school, wouldn't we want our children to have the best teachers? If we go home, wouldn't we want whoever cooks to cook the best meal? So Jesus is saying the word best should accompany your Christianity. There is no such a way as a halfway Christian. You either are or you aren't. Does that mean we are perfect right now? No, we are not. We're still going to do the wrong thing, say the wrong words, think the wrong thoughts. But that's when we have to pick ourselves up and say, that's not what Christ wants. Before every Mass, we ask for forgiveness. And every time we ask for forgiveness, we should say, help me get better. Help me become a better person. Make sure that tomorrow I'm better than today. That's what the Lord wants. First choice, between good and evil, life and death, choose the right thing. Second choice, choose perfection. And then what? And then comes St. Paul in the second reading today. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard the beauty that the love of God has prepared for us if we do the right thing. But you see, that beauty is conditioned by our way of living. If people can look at us and say, oh my God, what a good Christian, then when we get there, we can say, oh my God, what a beautiful place.